It's always embarrassing when it restarts like that, but typical Doug. Yeah, that's where that's going to go. So, anyway, here we go for Nailsin Ratings Live. Live. And I'll go through all these nerd movies that, interest me because, well, So we'll do that, and that'll probably be it. Wednesday comics. See, I'm already getting exhausted, despite the massive amount of sleep I was able to do to make up for all the sleep I didn't get for the past 5 days. So you can understand that. Plus, I want to get to bed early so that I can at least be somewhat semi-conscious to attend the Pop Culture Breakdown on Overlord DVD, that's Doomcock's channel, where we'll talk about, well, pretty much the same stuff I'm about to talk about here. So, it should work out. Off-topic show. Matt is here. Much love, Maine. When are you going to be a guest on the off-topic show? Well, we got to set that up. We do follow each other on the X, don't we? I think. I'll need to fix that if I don't. And, we'll figure it out. I mean, you're doing shows all the time. So it shouldn't be too difficult to arrange. And there's other shows that I've been invited to, and I need to look into that. Did meet up with, I met Shmuel Buckman over at Hackamania, and he said, if you can, do it. If not, well, whatever. So anyway, Matt, well, I need to do your show, and we'll figure that out. Thanks for popping in to say hi. Plaidcore, first like. Really? Okay. The second type, I slept all yesterday as I didn't for the prior 2 days. Yeah, it happens. Sleep is ever the elusive mistress. And sleep, as it happens, is my favorite thing to do. And perhaps the reason why is because I get so little of it. And so I miss it so terribly. And when it happens, I mean, I'm unconscious, probably dreaming something. Most of the dreams I don't remember. But nevertheless, I can never fully appreciate it. Because then I'm awake and it's hours later. I'm like, oh, well, at least that happened, I guess. And, it's all I can do. It's rather embarrassing to have to admit these things. But what am I supposed to do? Lie through my teeth? What happens when people's teeth fall out? It means they can't lie through their teeth. They can still lie, but no one ever says, you're going to lie through your mouth? How else are you going to do it? Yeah. So anyway, but no, I won't lie. I'll just tell you as it is, whether you like it or not. Most people are indifferent to it all, Anyway, on to the movies. Let's see what I've got here. I only skimmed most of these, for time. So if there's anything embarrassing from it, I apologize in advance. So Marvel movies, we'll go through that. DC after that. Some horror movies. Some Hollywood shenanigans to cover. And... a couple of sci-fi elements. There's Dune, Star Trek, and poor Doctor Who. So even that. So there's news on that. That happened while I was occupied elsewhere in Vegas at Hackamania, which, again, had a great time. Really did. The trip home was chaotic, but I got home. See? I'm home. There's no place like it. No. So anyway, first one's first. I'll go through this. The idea is for me to cut this up for later and make individual videos out of it. So I can spend more time sleeping on my lazy ass. Yeah. All right. First up is Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh, yes. Spider-Man. Let me clear my throat. There we are. Spider-Man Brand New Day reveals Spidey versus the Hand. So he's battling his chronic mess. No, Zendaya footage at CinemaCon. So he's going to take on the Hand and Zendaya. That's weird. Because I think they're married in real life. Or engaged. Something like that. Anyway, Sony's CinemaCon promotion for Spider-Man Brand New Day has dropped. A new poster showing Spider-Man surrounded by the Hand, the wall crawler leaping into action as sword-wielding enemies close in below. The second poster features a look at Zendaya as MJ, and new footage has, dropped. The posters don't reveal any plot details except that he's going to fight the Hand. Well, that's okay. The trailer did the same thing. He was getting ready to battle him and stuff. And so there you go. But do offer a fresh look at the movie's tone and possible street-level direction. Instead of a cosmic setup or multiverse-heavy tease, the first poster puts Spider-Man in the middle of a grounded fight in New York against a group of ninja-like attackers tied to one of Marvel's most well-known criminal factions. Yeah, but there is the elements of the supernatural with them. I guess maybe not all of them, but, all right, I'm not all that up on the Hand, but I do know, of them. So anyway, here he goes, another scene of them. In the trailer, you can see it from the side view or what have you. But here he is leaping into action, and they've got their swords out. And but he's got spider powers, so he'll be fine. Don't worry. So anyway, the biggest takeaway from the poster is the inclusion of the Hand, who were also featured in a recent trailer. That's right, I just said that. The group is known in Marvel Comics as a deadly ninja clan with deep ties to characters including Daredevil, Elektra, and Kingpin. Yeah, Elektra came out of that group. See, they like to wear red too, just like she does. And they did feature that in the Netflix of the Hand, elements of them in Daredevil on Netflix, as I recall. So now they're going to make their cinematic debut in Spider-Man. And Spider-Man exists in the same, they all exist together in the Marvel Universe, of course. But Spider-Man has probably more interactions with the likes of Daredevil and characters like that than, Captain America and that sort of thing. But anyway, so we're finally going to get some actual more Spider-Man-like action in this movie. So anyway, the biggest takeaway... Oh, we already did that. So do I play it? You've seen it. I don't know what the rules are. I'll get in trouble. I won't do it. With Spider-Man now apparently facing off against them, the new movie could be leaning into a more brutal and grounded style compared to some of the bigger spectacles seen in previous MCU Spider-Man films. Yeah, it's at least, first glance here, it's actually doing Spider-Man stuff in a Spider-Man movie. Who'd have thunk it? The first two, I didn't care for. They weren't, it just wasn't Spider-Man. It was like some other character, dressing up as Spider-Man. But that third one, Tom Holland got to be Peter Parker for the first time. And, plus you had all the cosmic shenanigans of multiverse and everything. But whatever, you got to get there somehow. And I loved it. It was great. And, of course, having the other Spider-Man there and them interacting, it was cool. And Doctor Strange. Look, Spider-Man, he's had interactions with him probably more than the likes of Captain America. And, well, of course, the Fantastic Four he's had a lot of interactions with. But Iron Man, that's kind of more of a recent thing. Well, maybe, probably 20 years now, but still in the comics, And about him being a mentor figure and that kind of thing. But Doctor Strange, because, that's another Steve Ditko creation, he featured on occasion, rather prominently in the Spider-Man lore. And so that last movie just worked on so many Spider-Man levels. And now looks like more of the same. So now you've got the heartbreaking soap opera stuff that it was so typical of Spider-Man lore. And so there he is. He's thinking about her, but he can never be with her because of the spell cast and all this stuff. And does he try to reintroduce himself to her in the hopes that something might happen and all that sort of thing? So anyway, Zendaya appears as who else? MJ. Well, the MCU MJ, but in the second image, looking off into the distance, which seems to reflect where things left off in the last movie, after she and the rest of the world forgot who Peter Parker is. That's right. They don't know that's Peter Parker underneath the mask. And even if they did, they're still like, who the hell's that? Yeah. So anyway, the new posters released out of CinemaCon. The posters, they're going to show me the more of those. So there you get a better look at it. Yeah, okay. That was in Las Vegas? I mean, this was going on? Well, I was busy. It's funny. When did they do this? Was that like the same time? Well, whatever. That's kind of funny. Probably could have caught a cab and went and looked, Well, anyway, updating. We're waiting word on whether Sony screened trailer footage or any exclusive scenes during its CinemaCon presentation. More details should be coming soon. Well, I imagine they probably did. Variety says the CinemaCon footage focused on the consequences of Peter Parker erasing himself from everyone's memory at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. The scene starts with Peter at a local bodega when Ned walks in to buy beer and a keg without recognizing his former friend. Peter then follows Ned to a crowded college party where he sees Michelle Jones Watson kissing a new guy. That's Zendaya's character. Yeah, it's not Mary Jane anymore. It's... confirming MJ has moved on because she no longer remembers Peter exists. Would have been hilarious if she was... Anyway, at the party, Ned is still obsessed with figuring out who Spider-Man is. Oh, he even has a conspiracy board and tells Peter, who introduces himself as Maynard. Huh? Why? I mean, he doesn't know you're Peter. He's never known Peter Parker. So you can introduce yourself as yourself. Anyway, that Spider-Man once saved his life, and he only wants to thank him. Oh, does Ned I know it's Peter. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, Ned says he has narrowed Spider-Man's identity down to two suspects: Flash Thompson and Professor Harrington. Yeah, he's way off. MJ also gets a line in the footage telling the crowd, there's like 50 people in our apartment. Statistically speaking, it means at least 2 are sociopaths, which is cool. Peter then awkwardly introduces himself as just a neighbor from across the hall and gives her a small bouquet of flowers. Boy, he just can't let go. Anyway, the Tom Holland introduced the scene via hologram and said the movie deals directly with the fallout from Peter's decision. He also called Spider-Man Brand New Day the most emotional Spider-Man movie yet and said it is also the most grown up. Well, more emotional than the death of Aunt May? I mean, he was pretty upset about that. Anyway, it'll be here July 31st. Are you ready? Yeah. It's probably going to be their best movie, and that's the MCU. Oh, right. It's a Sony production, of course, this time around, but it's MCU. And it's probably going to be their best movie they've had in a while. Now, I like Thunderbolts. I'm one of the few who saw it, but, the MCU problem. But I think Spider-Man can survive the damage done to the MCU brand overall. And so Spider-Man should do all right and... may even hit another $1 billion. It may do just that. So there you go. Spider-Man. But even though I'm optimistic, could there be trouble along the way? Oh no, Spider-Man looks nervous. Who can blame him? Because, MCU is not doing great. So Tom Holland says Spider-Man Brand New Day reshoots are just icing on the cake. Well... we know the reputation of reshoots with MCU. So every time you hear it, you're like, oh, no. But it also tells you it was going to be worse than what you inevitably see, So anyway, Tom Holland is putting any concern about Spider-Man Brand New Day reshoots to rest. In a new interview with GQ, Holland said he's currently in London doing additional photography for the movie, but made it clear the film was already in good shape before the extra work. But then why did, this and that. According to Holland, the new scenes are not being done because the movie's in trouble. He said, I can positively say that the stuff we're doing we don't need. And added that the movie works and sings as it is. Oh no, a musical? Not another one. Oh look, there's Boomerang. Throwing his, boomerangs at Spider-Man. But it looks like right out of the comic book Spider-Man. It looks really good. But maybe this is like the end and mid credit scenes for Doomsday and stuff. It might be that kind of thing, So he's saying that movie didn't need it. So the actual movie in and of itself, it's fine. It's just they're going to add on this extra stuff because next up, Doomsday. So Holland explained that what they are shooting now is more about polishing things up than fixing anything major. He said they're just adding icing on the cake in certain areas, finding ways to add a little bit more humor. See, I was fine until I heard that. So there's one thing MCU has way too much of are the jokes. They're not that great. And they choke the movie. I mean, the peak of that was Love and Thunder, which could have been a good movie. The plot was sound. And they just beat it to death with idiot jokes. Holland also teased they are layering in a villain plot line in a new way. Okay, that's more than polish. Which is probably the biggest takeaway for fans looking for clues about what the movie is really setting up. Layering the plot line. That's not like they went in post to add more effects or something like that. That's the actual plot line for this villain. So, I'm having a hard time believing that the movie was fine. They're just adding icing, I can positively say that the stuff we're doing, we don't need. Well, then why they're layering the villain plot? Maybe some extra shots that adds more to the backstory to the guy or something. I don't know, but a little troubled about that. So, anyways, brand new day, July. All these people are in it. And as for plot details, well, let's see. Marvel's official synopsis says Peter is now older. Yeah. Alone. And fully committed to being Spider-Man after No Way Home. But as crime escalates in New York, the pressure on Peter causes a dangerous change in him while a new major threat arises. So there you go. Oh, boy. You don't know me, but you're a stalker. She's going to be all freaked out. Some masked man keeps wanting to talk to her and stuff. Oh, well. But it's Spider-Man, and it's their best bet. It is. And still, if there's troubles, it could still be a $1 billion MCU film, just like in the old days. But guess what else? It's rather clustered and crowded. That could hurt it. Or maybe it'll help. What's going on with his ears? Yeah, someone screwed up the Photoshop here. They really did. You didn't match up the sizing of his head to the... Jeez. Spider-Man Brand New Day leak reveals Mark Ruffalo's Savage Hulk. I'm savage. I'm Hulk savage. Spider-Man Brand New Day might be adding a much more brutal Hulk to the mix. That was always the rumor, and I think it's true. As new leaked merched images appear to show what looks like Mark Ruffalo's Savage Hulk tied to the movie. The image include a shirt and an angry, classic-looking Hulk, and another comic-style design for Brand New Day that also features, you guessed it, Hulk, adding more fuel to the idea that Bruce Banner's monster side is a real part of the film. None of it is official plot confirmation, but it lines up with the growing rumors and speculation surrounding Ruffalo's roles. Let's take a look. Well, it's almost gray, But anyway, he's like, "Arr!" Maybe he's just mad because he was walking down the sidewalk and he stepped in some dog shit, and he's mad at the asshole who didn't, bring his poop scooper thing, Grrr. Or he's back to being nasty. That's what people want. They don't want, hey guys, how's it going? Hey, everything's chill. No, nobody wants that. What stands out is that this does not look like the calmer Smart Hulk, smart-ass Hulk version fans got used to in recent MCU appearances. Yeah, they're terrible. The leaked design points more to a savage, rage-heavy Hulk, which immediately raises questions about what happens to Banner in the movie and how dangerous he becomes. One of the rumors is Jean Grey will mess with his head and it unleashes the Savage Hulk, with Ruffalo already part of the cast. The merch leak has fans wondering if Marvel is hiding a bigger Hulk twist than expected. Yeah, it could be. The rumors going around claim Sadie Sink's mystery character, Jean Grey, widely speculated by fans to be Jean Grey, unleashes the Savage Hulk for, some reason. And maybe it's accidentally. He's like, well, I didn't mean for it to go that bad. But it does. Oh. Aren't those like Klingon, what do they call it, bath lift? He's a Star Trek fan, I guess. And he made him his boomerangs. Anyway, the recent trailer also gives fans something else to look at. Banner appears to be controlling his Hulk persona through his blood. Well, that would mean I guess you can say that's how he developed it, because you meet him in Avengers Endgame and he's all, he's chilled and lazy and totally uninteresting and all that. And then in She-Hulk, he's the same way. But I'm blanking on that whole show, but I think he did mention something about that. So they carry that on here. Which suggests Marvel may be leaning into a more unstable setup for the character in Brand New Day. So I guess he loses his injections or something, and then he rages out, and now it's all ruined. So anyway, if that control fails, it could explain how Savage Hulk enters the story and why Spider-Man gets pulled into the fallout. Based on the official setup of the movie, Peter Parker turns to Banner for his help as his powers begin mutating in dangerous ways. So Banner's condition looks like it could be tied directly to the larger plot. So this is also in Hulk lore. Every now and then, Banner would find a way to get some amount of control over the Hulk persona, and then it would fail. And eventually he'd lose all that. So that's, and of course, Peter mutating and all that. That is also Spider-Man lore. Tom Holland recently confirmed the movie is doing it. Yeah, we talked about that. He says it's fine, relax. Everything is, it's just great. So, there you go. Same deal. And, look-wise, it looks pretty damn cool. And, but it's their best bet. And then you got Doomsday, which, it may be a hit, but does that really mean Marvel is back from the abyss, back from, the toilet they put themselves in? Well, that remains to be seen. Meanwhile, there's the other Sony projects, Spider-Verse, and I've yet to see any of these cartoons, but they've done very, very well. The other Sony Spider-Man movies with no Spider-Man have not, except for the first Venom. That one did good. And, for what it is, it's all right. The other two, I still haven't seen the third one. The second one it really fizzles. And there you go. The others, I haven't bothered with those either. Not even Morbius. And so there you are. Spider Noir looks good, although the recent claims of it being a comedy have me concerned. But at least it has a kind of Spider-Man in it. Spider-Verse films, they had, a lot of Spider-Man in it. So, you get that. So anyway, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse gets new look at CinemaCon. So, wow, that'll be next year. We'll get this one. So Sony used CinemaCon spotlight Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So it'll just be Miles Morales and none of the others because when does he get his own? If you're anyway, 4 images. So there we go. The movie will hit theaters again next year. So does he have close-ups of the images? Yeah, he does. Okay, we'll go through those. Let me read what else he does because, I read so well. The new images tease more of Miles Morales, his family, and the wild multiverse action fans expect from the franchise. One image shows Miles with his father, Jefferson Davis. The second image shows Miles facing off against Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. The original Spider-Man 2099 I actually liked. It's had Rick Leonardi art, and Miguel becomes the Spider-Man of that era. And he's older than Peter Parker was, as I recall. They might have changed that and made him younger now. I don't know. But it was cool. It was like in a Blade Runner futuristic city and stuff like that. And then it ended. It was a whole line. There was a 2099 Doctor Doom story and a Punisher 2099, stuff like that. So anyway, the third includes Spider-Punk, whom I don't give a damn about. A stylized image with the message, "Gonna save your dad," which points to the emotional stakes at the center of the story. Another features his Uncle Aaron, and another, if his father. You mean of his, but you've already said. Sony describes the film as the highly anticipated conclusion to the Spider-Verse saga. So there we go. That's his father, and it's a touching scene and all that. The film follows Spider-Croc. Okay, we don't need to read all that crap there. The image we've already seen. So that's sort of a really intense black and white version of Spider-Man 2099 because it's really black and red. He did it first, Miles. And so there he is beating up Miles for some reason. And then it's directed by this guy and that guy, and all these people are in it. Phil Lord and Miller, they did the screenplay, whatever. All these people produced it. There's Spider-Punk. And these people do the voices. Oh, look, it's the other characters. So there you go. Again, I didn't see the cartoons. I should make time to do that. At some point, do a review and all that goody gumdrop stuff. But nevertheless, they're successful. So there's a following for it. So I'm imagining quite a people are excited for more Spider-Man. More Spider-Man than you can possibly stand. But you'd better learn to stand it because you're gonna get it. So anyway, let me check a look at the chat. Plaidcore asks, are all your journeys home rife with havoc? Apparently. Yeah. I gotta say, it wasn't as devastating as the last time, where I nearly passed out and died on the road. Yeah. So this one turned out actually much better. And I got lucky the way that the plane pulled right into the right terminal at LAX. I don't know why it's named after laxatives, but anyway, so it was really easy. Still crowded as hell, but it was easy. I got right to the spot and waited till they called me to all aboard. Nodak has a good idea. Hit the like button. I mean, you're there. Might as well. Matt Weagle says, poor Peter. Yeah, I know. Matt Weagle, he was trying to get off as Maynard Keenan. Oh, okay. He says, I agree completely. Something I must have said. Nah, I forget, but I appreciate it, Matt. Nodak says, LOL, a more savage Hulk? You mean more savage than Nerdy Yes. No more of that idiot. People want to see Hulk smash and stuff. That's what he's known for. He's not known to sit there in his slippers, say, hey, man, would you care for a cappuccino? Plaidcore, adding icing to the icing. Yeah. Look, if it's just little, I don't even know, post-production stuff wouldn't be called reshoots. I mean, he's saying they're doing additional photography. That means they're filming something. And then that plot line for the villain. So I'm like, and then he says, yeah, you don't really need it, but then don't do it. Yeah. So I don't know. But, well, we'll see. speaks to the quality of the cake. It does. It does, Plaidcore. Nodak, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Yeah, that was the show. And, well, it is no more. Yeah, it's too bad, huh? I'm sure we're all upset. But, gee, something went wrong, didn't it? Well, there's other things from Marvel. And, let me get rid of these because I want to make this easier for me. Okay, is everything showing up? It is. All right, good. So now we got this thing, Marvel releases full trailer for The Punisher. One last kill. Well, after this, he's going to be in Spider-Man, so I guess maybe he doesn't get to kill anybody in the Spider-Man movie. Maybe that's the deal. So now he's just going to use tasers instead of guns, on his villains. Marvel has now released a full trailer of the Marvel Television special presentation of The Punisher: The One Last Kill, giving fans a much better look at John Bernthal's return as Frank Castle. The video description keeps it simple. Hey, Frank. The premiere. Oh, it's already on. I was busy in Las Vegas. Yeah, so I'll have to catch up on this too. Oh, God. Marvel officially announced trailer release. Frank Castle will be dealing with more than just. Oh wait, did I mean the special? No, that. Oh, May. What am I doing? This is April. I got plenty of time. Oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. Anyway, according to Marvel, Frank Castle will be dealing with more than just revenge this time around. The official synopsis says Frank searches for meaning beyond revenge when an unexpected force pulls him back into the fight. He keeps trying to get out, and they keep pulling him back in. So that's the deal. But without revenge, his story's over. You understand that, right? Yeah. But then again, it could be, the Bernthal version. They're getting ready to do their big multiversal reset. So maybe there'll be a different Punisher down the road. So anyway, that suggests Marvel is trying to push the character to a different place while still keeping him in the middle of the violence and chaos fans expect. So I don't know how much involvement will he have in Daredevil before that wraps up. Maybe he'll be horrified by what he does. I don't know. So anyway, along with the trailer, Marvel also released the first key art for Punisher: One Last Kill. Now, the poster shows Frank Castle suited up and back in action, which matches the tone of the trailer and continues the hard-edged setup teased in Daredevil Born Again Season number 2 footage. The Punisher: One Last Kill is directed by this guy. All these people are in it. Bernthal co-wrote the script. That's okay. And he returns, and there he is. What are you looking at? So there he is in his suit. Not so much. I don't know what they're talking about. What poster? There's no other poster here. There's nothing. There's this. He's in the suit. In the trailer, you see him get in it. And he's using a gun instead of his baseball bat. I'm Batman now. The poster show. Well, not in this one anyway. He's just in a hoodie. So whatever. So there you go. Punisher being punished and punishing again. From Marvel on DP. So don't miss it. And remember, it's in May, not this month, like I stupidly thought for a second or two. Right in front of everybody. But, anyway, one last kill for the Punisher. Yay. Oh, yeah, speaking of Punisher, Daredevil, and all that, we got this to look forward to. That's right. And especially her, kissy. Mike Coulter shares images with Kristen Ritter and Finn Jones as Heroes for Hire rumor heats up. So there they are together again at long last. So Mike Coulter has shared new Daredevil Born Again images on Instagram, and they include Kristen Ritter, yes please, and Finn Jones. The post adds to the recent set photo reveals showing Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist together as Marvel continues filming season number 3. Yeah, they're not going to be in the current one. Or she is, but I don't think the other two are. Wow, they got him wearing one of those robes too, like he has to. So he's just wearing a T-shirt. Well, the people are thinking he was going to actually be in the Iron Fist costume this time around. I don't know. Doesn't look like it there, though. So there you go. There's the picture. Yay! Yay! So anyway, the timing also lines up with a new rumor from Scooper My Time to Shine Hello, who claims that more shows starring the Defenders. If you're not going to do the actual Defenders, then don't just put other characters in there. Are in development at Marvel Studios, including a Heroes for Hire spinoff. See, there you go. Heroes for Hire. That should be the title of your show that you do with these guys. That would work, especially with, Power Man and Iron Fist, with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. His name is Power Man. You know that, don't you? And then Jessica could fit in with that. Anyway, Marvel has not confirmed anything officially, so for now it stays in the rumor category. Remember, rumors can be true. Rumors can be absolutely false. Sometimes, more times than not, they're somewhere in between. Recall that Matt McClellan said that years ago, Marvel insiders at Comic-Con told him the MCU would eventually do Heroes for Hire. With Luke Cage and Iron Fist now appearing together again, a Heroes for Hire spinoff seems likely. Unless Daredevil really poops the bed, they might think, well, look, we tried. Yeah. If you could just do it right. But so far, I don't know. I mean, the last episode I saw of Daredevil was probably their best one. I haven't seen the recent one yet. But I'm assuming they've already. Is that tonight? See, I don't even remember when the new shows come on. So... But anyway, I don't know. It's got more Daredevil in it, so that's good. But I don't know what numbers it's getting. But they've already went ahead and are shooting season 3 at the moment. And but man, by then they're probably thinking, yeah, we'll do a Heroes for Hire show, and that would be cool if they do it right and everything. But it might all get shut down. But overall, the MCU brand is severely damaged and stained. And I think that has a lot more to do with their troubles than just the quality of themselves. It's like I keep going back to Thunderbolts. It's not that bad of a film. But nobody showed up for it. First, they didn't quite know who these people were. And they're just like, and Marvel's been sucking so bad, I'm not going to take a shot on some Marvel film I don't really even know much about, And so here you have Daredevil, which was the most popular of the Netflix shows, and nobody showed up for that season. Before they even knew, it was pretty bad. But you didn't know that going in, not directly. You just knew based on Marvel's recent history, So, I don't know. But, well, as with all things, time will tell. Oh, what's that doing here? Oh, it's X-Men. I was thinking it was Game of Thrones stuff. Oh, boy, I'm stupid. X-Men rumor eyes Odessa Azion? Azion? I don't know. For Rogue. Peter Claffey for Beast. So, these two. Marvel's X-Men movie now has 2 more casting rumors. Could be true, could be false, somewhere in between. Making the rounds, according to the N. Snyder, giggle, see, Odessa Azion is reportedly being eyed for Rogue, while Peter Claffey is said to be in the mix for Beast. Nothing has been confirmed by Marvel Studios so far as this. Yeah, you already said that. The report follows the recent update from director Jake Schreier, who revealed that Lee Sung-jin and Joanna Kahlo are currently working on a draft of the script, which makes it clear the movie is still so deep in development. There's Rogue. Will that be our outfit? Huh. Okay. If the rumor is legit, Odessa Azion would be in line for one of the most popular X-Men characters. Rogue has always been a major fan favorite thanks to her powers, attitude, and her long-time connection to Gambit. Ma chère. Now, would they reboot Ms. Marvel the Carol Danvers one, the original Ms. Marvel, where Rogue steals her powers? Meow. Maybe. Probably not, though. Zion is better known for Hellraiser. Really? She's really young. I mean, did they remake Hellraiser already? I figured they would. I don't know. I only saw the first two Hellraiser movies. I really wasn't a fan of that. So, but anyway, as far as a reboot, I didn't see it. Sitting in Bars with Cake. Yeah, I haven't seen that either. And Grand Army. Okay, I know nothing of this girl, and she fits the younger age range that has been tied to Marvel's apparent plans for the reboot. Well, yeah, if it's successful and all that, they want to lock them into contracts for a whole bunch of movies for the next 10 or so years, So you're going to want them young so they don't get all old and nasty by the third film or whatever. Marvel boss Kevin Feige has already hinted the studio is looking toward a younger next-gen direction for X-Men, so a name like a Zion would fit that approach. Her name or just her age? Anyway, there she is. So just imagine them putting a white patch here, and then her outfit would be green. And boom, there you go. Rogue. As for Beast, Peter Claffey being linked to Beast is also an interesting pick. Claffey is best known for landing the role of Dunk in HBO's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and he has the size and presence that could make sense for Hank McCoy. Well, yeah, but his price tag has got to be going up, because the show's popular. So, Beast is one of the core X-Men characters, so if Marvel is really looking at Claffey, that could be a sign the studio is starting to zero in on the main lineup. Well, yeah, they'd better. They better hit the ground running, because pretty soon you're out of Marvel movies. As with Rogue, though, this is still only a report and not an official casting announcement. So there you go. There. Hey, do you think he could be Beast? I guess. The bigger picture here is that Marvel still seems to be building the movie from the ground up. Schreier's whatever, recent comments made it sound like the studio wants X-Men to lean into both the ideological conflict and the personal drama that made the comics work in the first place. That could mean a more character-driven reboot instead of just another effects-heavy teen movie. Yeah, that way they could save money on not having to do too many effects, It also means more casting rumors are likely on the way as the project moves forward. Rogue and Beast are both major names, so if Zion and Claffey really are into consideration, fans will probably have a lot to say. For now, Marvel hasn't officially announced a cast, a release date, or even a final lineup for the team. But between the new writers and the latest rumors, X-Men is clearly starting to come into focus. Well, they haven't said it outright, but just looking at the trailer and everything, Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. So that's your first X-Men you'll see for MCU. So there you go. Rogue and Beast. I guess I can take a look at the chat for a second here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yip, de dip, de doo. Whoop, whoop. By the way, the program is brought to you by Super Tip. Yes, Super Tip. A mild-mannered means by which to support your favorite creators. Yeah. Plus, you can have fun doing it with the voice tips and images and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. Adding icing to the icing speaks to the quality of the cake. I'm afraid so, yes. Nodak, they did a Hellraiser remake in do-do-do-do-do. All right, so there you go. I guess she was in that. But, like I said, I didn't watch that. Nope. I did not. Let me make sure everything's right. Avengers Doomsday. is exploding on tracking ahead of possible CinemaCon debut. So there's Cyclops, I guess, lighting the match that explodes everything. So see, it's all his fault. It's claimed that early tracking for Avengers Doomsday is strong, ahead of any new footage that might be released at next week's. How old is this? Holy crap, this is days old. Well, I'm only just getting to it, so it's new to me. While the footage isn't confirmed and likely won't be released online, THR reports that the Marvel film is one of the biggest pieces of Disney's upcoming slate and suggests CinemaCon would be the right moment to show exhibitors that the movie can deliver. Things have been quiet regarding Avengers Doomsday since the release of the character teasers. So with CinemaCon kicking off on Monday? So they did release some footage, huh? I guess I just missed out. Like an idiot. So anyway, previews as they're pulling out all the stuff, star power, blah, blah, blah. The outlet specifically highlighted Avengers Doomsday as a mystery title that now would be an opportune time to prove itself, while adding that sources say the film is exploding on long lead tracking. What that means is that studios and exhibitors are already seeing signs that Avengers Doomsday could be a huge movie before the main marketing campaign even fully kicks in. THR's report does not amount to an official confirmation that footage will be shown, but it does strongly suggest Doomsday is one of the titles Disney could use to make noise at the event, especially since Marvel has kept details close to the vest. You hear that, Grogu? Marvel Doomsday's gonna kick ass. You mean ours? Yeah. So anyway, there you go. From April 13th through April 16th at Caesar's Palace. And I was right there and didn't go. Oh, well, what are you going to do? The event is the major annual gathering for theater owners and studios, making it the perfect place for Disney to show off its biggest upcoming movies. Well, that'll be great. So I don't know. I guess they probably did show some footage, a little more, maybe more of the same, but a little extra, that kind of thing. And there you go. There you go. But the biggest promo, and come on, they got to have this, is the Spider-Man movie. And their end credits, you know, it's going to have something to do with Doomsday. And, well, that might be all they need, you know. So it's going to do well to some extent. For Marvel, it needs to hit $1 billion. And there must be enough excitement because, you know, and it's not the end. They've got Secret Wars as the follow-up for it. So this thing ends on a massive cliffhanger. And then you got Secret Wars. So that's what they'll do. And if there's enough excitement, whatever movie X-Men 1, and they release that, that they've generated enough buzz and excitement that people will show up. And if they don't screw that up and just ignore the dumb crap ideas they've had over the past few years, well, then they might really have something. And they can actually come from the jaws, or rather the gullet, of death, which is where they put themselves. They sure did. Alas, there's always consequences for your idiocy and whatnot, and sometimes it's the people who are least to blame, but, well. Doomsday. Marvel Studios rocked by Disney layoffs as key team gets cut. So, there's Robert Downey Jr. This time, he's just like, what are you going to do? You see, it's productions like these that are behind him, you know, that really spell out what went wrong. Anyway, ahead of the release of Avengers Doomsday this December, it's been learned that Disney's latest round of layoffs is now hitting Marvel Studios hard. Earlier today, Deadline confirmed Disney plans to cut up to 1,000 employees over the next few months, marking the first major layoffs under new CEO Josh DeMarco. The report said many of the cuts are tied to Disney's marketing consolidation under Chief Marketing and Brand Officer Asad Ayaz, as the company looks to eliminate duplication across film, TV, and streaming. Cyclops is upset, but what are you going to do, you know? A new Forbes report says Marvel is one of the divisions getting hit the hardest, with layoffs affecting both New York and Burbank across film and TV production, comics, franchise, finance, and legal. Comics. They're like, we still have those? The report adds that nearly the entire Academy Award-winning visual development team in Marvel Studios has been let go. See? But we won an Academy, yeah. Yeah. An Academy, an Oscar, you know. Anyway, as noted, those artists and designers helped shape the look of Marvel's movies and shows, working on everything from characters and environments to early visual concepts used across the MCU. According to Forbes, only a small skeleton crew of full-time production staff remains, with future work expected to be handled more through project-based hires than contractors, which I'm guessing will be more of the same. Forbes also reported that the layoffs do not appear to be tied to AI. Yeah, AI is not going to save your production, at least not at the moment. And boy, they got in bed with Sora, and then Sora died. Oh, no. So anyway, instead, the cuts are said to be connected to Disney's broader cost-cutting and Marvel Studios scaling back its production slate. Bob Iger previously confirmed a $4 billion loss. So I'm surprised it's only 1,000. Yeah. Anyway, some visual development artists are expected to move from full-time roles to contractor status depending on the project. Yeah. So they're still kind of sort of working with Disney, but they're only working with. They're not working at Disney or Marvel or whatever. Following the reports from Forbes, Deadline separately reported that Marvel was among the Disney divisions affected, alongside teams connected to marketing, TV publicity, casting development, and corporate financial operations. Look, it's Marvel. The Marvel Studios visual development team has played a key role in building the MCU's identity for years. In fact, what the hell was I trying to say? I mean, exactly, and more so, they were the only ones working for the most part. You know, like, hey, can you fix this? No, you didn't have a script. Anyway, so losing nearly the entire group is a major blow behind the scenes. It also comes at a time when Marvel has already been cutting back, following a stretch of underperforming projects, delays, and a reduced release slate. Disney may view it as streamlining. For Marvel fans, it looks like another sign the studio is still in reset mode. Well, yeah. The reset is the next couple of movies coming. That's what Doomsday is about. That's what Secret Wars is about. So, yeah. So Matt McClung says, hey, I talked about this last summer. And I guess Mickey Mouse said, yeah, you did. Oh no. So, there you go. And again, hey, what are you going to do, you know? You guys treated the franchise like toilet paper, and now you have no audience. So, whoops. But, you know, the contractors, you know, they'll have an income doing what they know how to do. And who knows if all this works. And maybe something more permanent will come along in the future. But that's Hollywood for you. That's Hollywood. Yeah. Okay, we'll get to this in a second, but nobody's talking to me. No super tip, nothing. So, well, got to move on to the next deal. J.J. Abrams proves why Paramount WBD merger is a good thing. Well, it was the only thing. You know, it's the only way for them to survive. So one of these idiots who was part of the problem going to bitch and moan that he can't grift off of them anymore. Who cares? So, editor's note. The following is an editorial and contains opinion and analysis. Okay. J.J. Abrams signing on to oppose the Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger says more about Hollywood's broken system than it does about the merger itself. Abrams is one of the last people who should be lecturing anyone, boys, ain't that the truth, about what is good for the business after cashing in on one of the biggest studio deals of the streaming era and delivering nowhere near the kind of output that justified the hype. Yes. Now, you couldn't fool Zaslav, could you? Yeah, he pretty much put an end to all that. Well, anyway, back in 2019, Warner Media won the bidding war for Abrams and Bad Robot, with the deal reported at least $250 million, with some coverage putting the full value near $500 million once incentives were factored in. But even the Hollywood Reporter was reporting that David Zaslav was frustrated by the lack of output from the pact. Abrams and his defenders never want to talk about that part. Gee, I wonder why. Hollywood loves to scream about protecting creativity whenever executives start talking cuts. But what exactly did Warner get out of it? A giant check, big promises, results that never came close to matching the billing. Westworld does not even work as a real defense for Abrams here. He was already attached to that HBO series years before the 2019 mega deal, with the show dating back to HBO's 2013 pilot order and premiering in 2016. So no, that is not fresh value created by the Warner Pact people are talking about. Under the Warner arrangement, one of the clearest Abrams projects to actually arrive was Duster, which was ordered in 2020, premiered on Max in May 2025, and then got canceled after one season in July 2025. Batman Caped Crusader, oh boy, good Lord, was also part of Bad Robot's orbit, but Warner passed on it, and I watched it, and I can see why. And the series wound up at Amazon. Even recent Warner announcements tied to Bad Robot, like Emily the Strange, feel more like pipeline talk than proof of a huge return on investment. The real joke is Abrams treating this merger like a threat to creativity after spending years as the poster boy for the exact opposite, elite Hollywood deal-making where a studio throws absurd money at a big name and gets very little in return. Bad Robot is downsizing. Oh no, closing his Los Angeles office and shifting operations to New York, where a communist mayor is in charge. Yes. Oh, that'll save money, won't it? New York. Yeah. Anyway, at the same time, Abrams' old mega deal is gone. In late 2024, Warner only renewed him on a smaller 2-year first look pact, which Variety described as a sign of the end of the mega deal era. Read between the lines, and the message is obvious. The town already decided Abrams is not worth the kind of blank check he once got. No, studios are done paying top dollar for the illusion of prestige. Yes, and that's all it was. He really didn't deserve any of the accolades he received. Amazingly enough, So when Abrams suddenly jumped into activist mode over this, they all do that. They run to that and say it's all this some sort of ism because they got nothing. That's why. Anyway, it comes off less like principle. It isn't. And more like someone protecting a version of Hollywood that worked very well for him personally. Well, maybe you should have done some work, stupid. Anyway, Abrams is one of more than 1,000 signatories on the open letter opposing Paramount WBD merger. Everyone who signed that, Paramount, those are the guys you avoid. You don't need them. The letter argues that the deal would mean fewer jobs, fewer opportunities, and fewer films. Yeah, because everybody went broke under your idiot ideas. These are the consequences. This is about survival, dummy. So anyway, they warned that the number of major U.S. studios would drop to 4. Yes. Yeah. This was Warner Brothers' third merger, their third sale. Doesn't that tell you something? Abrams' name is right there on the site, and all the trades are highlighting his name in their articles and titles. The problem is the optics are terrible. Paramount says the combined studios would remain standalone movie operations and release 30 movies a year in theaters. You can argue over whether that promise will hold, but at least it is a concrete output pledge. And it was better than what Netflix was going to do. So, look, it's bad all over, but this was the better outcome. This is where you are. So anyway, Abrams, by comparison, already had years to show what a lavish studio commitment to creativity looked like in practice. It mostly looked like development hell, canceled projects, and a company now shrinking its footprint. All on a $500 million payday. Yeah. So, the usual suspects are all upset. Well, maybe you're right. There'll be fewer jobs. For you. Abrams actually makes the best argument for the merger. The old Hollywood model burned mountains of cash on celebrity producers, prestige packaging, and endless development with too little to show for it. The new company is serious about making 30 movies a year. That sounds a lot better than dumping 9 figures into bloated vanity deals and pretending it was a win. Abrams wants to frame himself as a defender of artists. Fine, but plenty of people will look at his Warner run and see something else. A guy who benefited from the excess, failed to justify the price tag, and is now complaining that the business might finally be forced to act like a business. If Abrams wants to make a serious case against the merger, he needed to be the last guy to sign that letter. Not one of the first names people noticed. Well, I don't know. It wouldn't make much of a difference. He is not the face of creative efficiency. He is the face of peak Hollywood overpayment and, at best, mediocrity. And when one of the biggest beneficiaries of that system starts warning everyone else about what is bad for the industry, it is hard not to laugh. This is true. So even if some of these guys are way more talented and skilled than he is, they're making a mistake here. And you need to take some ownership for your activities over the past decade or so, because you guys were pouring gasoline on the fire, and now you're whining about all the ashes floating around. It's absolutely galling, really. Yeah. But again, JJ's not alone in this. Oh, look, it's his old buddy. Yeah. He's all about this. DCU Lanterns exec comes out against Paramount WBD merger. Well, that'll learn him. Good. Hey, wait a minute. You work for Warner, so I guess this is your last gig. Well, good news for that. Damon Lindelof, who is attached to James Gunn's DCU Lanterns HBO series, has probably come out against the proposed Paramount WBD merger. So he signed the stupid open letter. Lindelof said his concern is what the merger could mean for workers across the industry. He should have been concerned about him before, but, so because Hollywood, believe it or not, is a blue-collar town, it's thousands and thousands of grips and gaffers, drivers and decorators, builders and boom operators, camera teams, and caterers. And they're all about to get fucked. They already were, by you. Contrary to Paramount's guidance, claim that they will release 30 movies a year, Lindelof argued that a merger like this will result in fewer productions and fewer jobs. Hopefully for him. Hollywood mergers mean fewer blah, blah, blah. Our town will become a ghost town. Yeah, it's on the way there for a lot more reasons than just you idiots. Man, after that HBO Watchmen crap he did and they gave him a DC property, it's incredible. Anyway, better not to risk it. Me opposing an inevitable merger would be pointless. He also said opposing a merger may look pointless on the surface, but still felt it worth doing. Better not to risk it. Me opposing an inevitable merger would be pointless, and signing a letter that would evaporate into the shitstorm of an unrelenting news cycle would be even more pointless. But is it pointless? Only if it adds to the realization of anyone who might possibly hire to think, whoa, they should already know this. But, don't. Lindelof said he has worked with David Ellison before and described him in positive terms, but made clear he still opposes the merger. I actually sort of know my potential new boss, perhaps not for long. David Ellison, we produced a few things together not too long ago, and I found him to be bright, ambitious, and passionate. He loves movies and trusted the people he made them with. But still, Lindelof closed by saying fear played a role in his hesitation. But he signed the letter anyway. I'm scared, but I'm not a ghost. And a fight is already lost if it's never fought. It is already lost. You think it would have made any difference if Netflix had gotten it? It'd probably be even worse. I mean, it would be even worse. You're such an idiot. So I signed proudly. I understand why many of my peers have not. Trust me. I'm more of a puker than a stormer. Well, you do produce a lot of puke. But these boats are heading for the beach, whether we like it or not. The only thing we have any control over is what we do when we get there. Well, who says you're going to get there? You know? Yeah, don't hire these guys. They're a big reason why this happened at all. These are the consequences. And, well, that's it. All right. And am I even on anymore? I don't even know. Spinning. Are the consequences? Yep, I'm still on. All right. Just making sure. Okay, now we'll move on to DCU and their troubles. James Gunn shares sloppy Superman image that botches Lois Lane. What do you mean? The window pane frame is cutting right through her face. Anyway, James Gunn has shared a new rehearsal image from Man of Tomorrow, but the shot comes with a pretty glaring problem that is hard to ignore once you see it. Update. The image is apparently from Gunn's Super. Yeah, I thought so. This looks very familiar from some of the promotions, though I don't recall it from the movie. But I guess it's the rehearsal scene for the movie. It wasn't actually. Anyway, which may mean it's actually a part of the film, and or Gunn posted a botched image after the film's release. The image is meant to spotlight David Cornsweet as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Yet, what stands out most is how badly Brosnahan's face reads in the composition. Gunn posted the image himself with the caption, "Rehearsal, Superman," but that only goes so far. Whether it's unfinished effects, sloppy compositing, bad staging, or just a terrible visual setup, the end result is the same. The image looks completely off, and it is surprising that Gunn shared it publicly, apparently without checking. Yeah, looks like he needed a comb. Yeah, this is a terrible costume. It's just, I guess, reading the script in the rehearsal, but it just looks bad. Anyway, the biggest issue is the way Lois's profile lines up with the window column behind her. Brosnahan is seated in silhouette, but the vertical line from the window frame cuts across her face in a way that makes it look like the background is sitting in front of her instead of behind her. It creates a strange visual effect where her face appears broken, distorted, or poorly separated from the background. Well, okay. Well, Gunn is not simply the director of Superman and Man of Tomorrow. He is the co-head of DC Studios. A guy in that position should know better than to post an image that contains such an obvious visual problem, especially when the whole point of a first look image is to build confidence in the movie and the new DC brand. Of course, this is from the movie that's already been released, so I don't guess it really matters. Anyway, this is not some tiny issue buried in the corner of the frame. It is right there in the foreground. Once you notice it, It becomes the main thing your eye goes to. That raises an obvious question. How does an image like this get approved and posted by the head of a studio? I don't know, you didn't catch it. Calling it a rehearsal image does not really change anything. Once Gunn posts it to social media as an official tease, it becomes part of the public presentation of the film. People are not going to stop and make excuses for unfinished work, especially when superhero movies already get hammered over questionable visuals and rushed effects. If the image is unfinished, then it should not have been posted. If it is finished, then that is even worse. And it begs the question, why would his VFX team give him an unfinished image? Another question, is it AI generated? I don't know. Well, I guess he shouldn't have done that, huh? I don't know. I mean, it says it's a rehearsal image, probably didn't polish it as much, and only released it long after the fact, so it's not really promoting the movie. There were images from this scene, I mean, especially the first shot of Superman putting his boots on and that kind of thing. So that's probably why, yeah, it's probably much ado about nothing, really. Now on to almost Wonder Woman or something, anyway. James Gunn blast Adria Arjona, Man of Tomorrow rumor. Shoddy and incorrect. Yeah, I didn't think she was going to be Man of Tomorrow, you know. But it looks like some people thought she'd be Wonder Woman. And, yeah, I can see it, you know. Anyway, Adria Arjona is back in DC casting chatter, as Deadline reported that Arjona was among the actresses who began testing last week for a key role in James Gunn's Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, with the trade identifying the character as Maxima, who has red hair. According to Deadline's report, the role in question is, of course, Maxima, the warrior queen of Almorak. In the comics, Maxima first appeared in Action Comics 645, where she comes to Earth looking for Superman as a mate. She wants to bang Superman. I'm thinking this actress makes a better Wonder Woman, but, well. So anyway, the Hollywood Reporter says, Adria Arjona, Eva D. Domenici, Sydney Chandler, and Grace Van Patten are the four finalists for the role of Maxima. Not long after the report made the rounds, Gunn responded on Threads and said Deadline's reporting was shoddy and incorrect. He added the names had been checked. Whatever, let's see what he said. This is not against Nexus. They're sharing what Deadline reported. But Deadline's reporting is shoddy and incorrect. I've always thought Deadline was pretty thorough in their journalism, but that's not the case here, so I'm frankly disappointed. If someone would have run these names by us, we would have said, it's bullshit. I've been friends with Adria a long time since I cast her in the Belko experiment. I'm a fan of both Marissa and Ella, but I've never met either of them. Crazy. So, there you go. They weren't considered. So, Deadline's article also includes an editor's note. The trade says it went through its normal editorial process, but the story was being updated after a review based on new information involving the actors. So anyway, Gunn also pushed back on the bigger assumption fans ran with after the report. A fan responded, "When are you announcing the actual casting of Man of Tomorrow?" Gunn fired back, "I already have for every major role." A fan also questioned, "So are you confirming Maxima is in the movie? Plus Brainiac?" My guy, how was Panic in the Sky not a big influence on this movie? I am absolutely not confirming that and didn't, replied Gunn. Another fan asked, are all the roles in Man of Tomorrow cast yet, or some still missing? Gunn shot back, one left, then we're finished. Boy, he's really upset. The Belko experiment, yeah. Arjona has already been linked to DC before through Wonder Woman speculation. Last year, Gunn said she would have been a great Wonder Woman, but he's probably never going to get around having anything to do with Wonder Woman. So what's the point, you know? But he also made clear people were reading too much into his social media follow because the two have known each other since working, again, on the Belko experiment. So Man of Tomorrow releases then, all these people are in it, and all that great stuff. So she's not Wonder Woman. Even though it's probably a better role than this. But, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, you're going to announce she's Maxima. Yeah, so she is going to be Maxima. So he had to have known that already while he was saying, hey, you haven't heard anything, whatever. So Adria Arjona is now officially joining James Gunn's Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. According to the trades. Oh, well, is he going to say, this is bullshit? The new wrinkle is the same one that blew up last week. Hollywood Reporter, Mr. O, blah, blah, blah. But they're saying it's Maxima. So I guess they'll dye her hair red. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the trade says Arjona landed the role of the Warrior Queen from Almerac following auditions last week. So there you go. She will be in that. She won't be Wonder Woman, and there probably never will be a DCU Wonder Woman. So because the Hollywood Reporter is still not naming the characters, wondered if Arjona could still be tied to Wonder Woman instead. Speculation has been around for months after Gunn said Arjona would be a great Wonder Woman, while also saying fans were reading too much into his social media follow, making clear no cast has been announced at the time. As of the current trade reports, though, nothing official says Arjona is playing. I thought it said she's playing Wynn's big role in Superman. So is this saying she's in the movie? All right. So maybe she isn't Maxima. She probably is, though. So anyway, there you go. So, Gunn not allowed to use Wonder Woman. Well, let's see what this is about. McCloy says, I'll throw this out there. Gunn may not be allowed to use Wonder Woman. Sources have filled me in on the fact that he's been forced to pivot to his Superman family saga. I've already been told they're afraid of what Gunn will do with Batman, hence why no DCU Batman. Well, yeah, but there's also the Matt Reeves Batman they're kind of stuck with. So, and that the future of Gunn's DCU hangs on what happens with the Paramount WBD merger. Well, yeah. I've even been told that Gunn isn't allowed to use a live-action Darkseid because the Snyderverse is returning. Well, we'll see. It's also why the Jimmy Olsen series is up next, as it's, Superman related. Maxima is too. So it's also worth noting that Gunn has never actually shot down any of my reporting. Okay. Instead, after my stories gained attention, he turned to his favorite YouTubers and Bloomberg, which comes off as an attempt to steady the narrative and protect his job. The latest talk is that he could be gone by the end of the year or before Man of Tomorrow is released. It would be hard to believe the studio would hand him the keys to major characters like Wonder Woman or Batman, if that were the case. But then, well, of course, it's unlikely these will all be smash hits. Maybe Man of Tomorrow could be, but it'll be too late by then. Maxima, on the other hand, would be a much easier character to use as a substitute, which is why it's possible she was brought in as a replaceable stand-in if Wonder Woman was Gunn's original idea. He's going to have Wonder Woman make out with Superman? I don't know. Maxima also sticks with Gunn being forced to pivot to his Superman family saga instead of the greater DCU, which I first told you, and something that was confirmed by WBD, David Zaslav, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there you go. The movie's on the way. There she is, just, red hair, green sort of outfit, and a yellow cape. And that's probably what it'll be. Or someone entirely different. I don't know, but she's in the movie. We do know that, at the very least. Supergirl footage debuts at CinemaCon as Millie Alcock battles pirates in space. All right. Warner Brothers brought Supergirl to CinemaCon, blah, blah, blah. The footage offered a new look at Kara Zor-El on a rough interplanetary ride, which, okay, it's a new look at it, but we've already seen it, and also came with an update on the wider DCU. As Saffron confirmed, cameras begin rolling next week on Man of Tomorrow. The footage is dirty, dusty, chaotic, like the rest. Opening inside the beat-up space bus pulled straight from Tom King and the comic book, So again, more of the same footage. Kara is stuck between a busload of shady aliens, including one who falls asleep on her shoulder, giggle tee-hee, and another across the aisle constantly smoking. When Ruthie starts screaming for help, Kara steps in, and the scene quickly shows the tension between them. Ruthie insists she is Kara's friend, but Kara pushes back, asking her to prove she even knows her name. God, you gotta be nasty to the poor girl. Jeez. Things get worse when pirate aliens suddenly board the bus and send in a small robotic droid to scan the passengers. Kara figures they want the bus, the fuel, and the engine, and that they plan to rob everybody blind first. A blue-faced female pirate demands Kara's watch. Watch? While Ruthie has drawn her sword, which the pirates want too. Kara tries to keep things under control and tells Ruthie to hand it over, but once she sees how much the sword means to her, she decides to fight back. Well, there you go. There you go. The sequence turns into a wild brawl as Kara takes on the pirates, spider-like droids, and the cramped bus itself. She moves so fast she is basically glitching from place to place, still getting used to her powers in that setting and ending up in awkward spots between passengers and storage compartments. Giggle tee-hee. At one point, she reaches the driver and asks how close they are to a yellow sun. The answer is, not close enough. Kara puts on a yellow spacesuit, but before she can get the helmet on, she is ripped out of the vehicle and sent spiraling into space. She floats there frozen and seemingly lifeless as Ruthie and the other passengers watch from the bus. Then the sun finally emerges from behind the planet. Kara wakes up, grins, and comes roaring back. She tears through the droids, attacking the bus, gets blasted away by the pirate ship, and is driven into a field of debris before turning the fight around. The footage ends with Kara floating in space, her hair drifting in zero gravity, smiling as she stares down the pirates and fires back with her heat vision. Jason Momoa is just there to show off his jacket. The CinemaCon footage then shifts into a larger sizzle reel, which looks at Lobo, Superman, and more action involving Krim, the least of the cast. He looks really stupid, including a shot where kryptonite poisoning appears to be affecting Kara. The footage also leans into Kara's rougher past and the tragedy she has gone through, while briefly playing with her reaction to Superman's more polished image. Yeah, he's got a nice haircut, and she looks like she hasn't washed her hair in weeks. Alcock told the CinemaCon crowd the experience has been transformative for her, both personally and professionally. Momoa also played up his excitement about finally getting to play Lobo, calling it a dream come true and saying it is the comic he collected. When asked what would happen if Lobo ever met Aquaman, Momoa joked the two would probably take one look at each other, drink a few hundred beers, and get along just fine. Gillespie also praised this version of Supergirl as complex, flawed, and complicated, which lines up with the tone DC has been teasing for the movie. Well, it stars, Millie and Jason. And Saffron used the special presentation to also offer a Superman sequel update, confirming that the cameras will roll next week on Man of Tomorrow. Oh, yeah, Clayface was there, too. So there you go. Little action for Supergirl. Will the movie do okay? I suppose it's possible, but, pretty much that's all there is for DCU. Yeah. Clayface trailer at CinemaCon adds creepy new details to DC's body horror movie. Rawr, rawr. DC Studios showed showed off the first Clayface trailer at CinemaCon, and it looks like the movie is going all in on horror. Tom Rice Harry stars as Matt Hagen, a struggling actor whose life takes a brutal turn after his face is disfigured, and he undergoes a transformation that turns his body into clay. The teaser opens with Hagen in a hospital bed, his face wrapped in bandages, his eyes red, and his skin looking raw as he appears to be in severe pain and emotionally shattered. Well, yeah. The footage cuts between the injured Hagen and glimpses of him before the accident, playing up the shock of what has happened to him. Things only get more disturbing from here. Hagen is attacked, pumped with mysterious chemicals, and his body starts changing in gruesome ways. His lips begin sticking together, his face shifts and breaks down, and shadowy shots show his body forming massive, hammer-like hands as people around him scream in horror. The footage also teases the comic book side of the character, including a giant mace-shaped fist, similar to how Clayface has fought Batman in DC Comics. The teaser ends with one of the creepiest moments. Hagen is sitting in a bathtub with his face uncovered. He wipes his face away and reveals there is nothing there. I don't know. It sounds like this might be the best one they have yet for the year. So October, that's when it arrives. So, you know, especially as a horror movie done on the cheap might work, even though it's a Batman movie with no Batman. And I don't even know if they're able to get some guy dressed up in the suit and have him in silhouette, standing there. It's all over, Hagen. Yeah, I guess they can't even have him say something, I don't know. Probably nothing at all for Clayface when it comes to Batman. And it's unfortunate. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're hoping this will do as well as Joker did. Not the sequel, the original. But it's just a cheap horror movie. I don't know. It might work. It might. So anyway, Clayface. Man of Tomorrow starts filming. Gunn, Cornsweat, Holt, Tease, Brainiac. Because they just like to be silly, I guess. Anyway, James Gunn's Superman follow-up Man of Tomorrow starts filming. Cameras roll next week, said Safran at the Comic-Con, or CinemaCon, rather. Also featured a video message from James Gunn, David Cornsweat, Nicholas Holt, teasing the villain and what's ahead in the movie. The video offered a small preview of the sequel setup. Yeah, because they just now started shooting, so there's nothing to show, really. David Cornsweat teased, "We're trying to save the world with your sworn enemy." Nicholas Holt added, "A new villain and an unlikely alliance." James Gunn closed things by saying he's excited to finally start sharing more from the film. Taken all together, the comments point to the story where Superman and Lex Luthor are forced into some kind of uneasy team-up while facing a larger threat, known to be Brainiac. The filming update also aligns with previous reports that Man of Tomorrow would begin production in coordination with Superman Day. Well, that's nice. So, Adria Arjona joins the cast. The trades are, yes, she'll be there. They're saying she's playing Maxima. She probably is, but whatever. So anyway, there you go. And it'll be in theaters next year. David Cornsweat returns. These other people are going to be in it. And also, Jon Stewart Green Lantern will be in it. All that stuff. Will it be allowed to be a Superman movie? Well, maybe. And if Green Lantern's the only one who shows up as an extra player in this, I'm assuming Supergirl would be in there too, but that's a Supergirl character, so that's fine. But with Brainiac being this cosmic threat and stuff, so having a Green Lantern around would make a certain amount of sense. But just don't clutter the film so much like you did the first one. At least that. At least that. And don't do shots like this. Good Lord. It looks like a Mad Magazine drawing of him, which I like, but not for the actual Superman movie. Oh, well, good luck, Cornsweat. Hopefully it works out, because I'm not really against. I mean, I wanted to see Henry Cavill get another shot at the role, but there's nothing against Corn Sweat. But it looks like he's being robbed of opportunities, just like the previous actors to play the role. So, but anyway, best of luck. Best of luck. All right, we move away from all the superhero stuff. That's what we're going to do. And okay. And okay. Game of Thrones Aegon's Conquest revealed at CinemaCon. Look, see, here's the dragon. Ha-cha-cha. Anyway, Warner Brothers revealed Game of Thrones Aegon's Conquest as the working title for the new Game of Thrones movie during the studio's CinemaCon presentation in Las Vegas. The title appeared as part of Warner Brothers' 2027 and beyond slate, and reports note it is only a working title for now, so it could still change. CinemaCon reveal marks the latest step forward for the long-rumored feature project, which had previously been reported as the theatrical take on Aegon the First Targaryens, Aegon 1. I just thought it was Aegon. I don't know. Targaryen's Conquest of Westeros. Warner Brothers did not roll out a full presentation for the film, but including it in the 2027 and beyond slate is a clear sign the project remains in active and early development. As previously reported, the movie centers on Aegon and his campaign to conquer Westeros alongside his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys. The story takes place roughly 300 years before Game of Thrones and covers one of the biggest events in the franchise timeline, as Aegon unifies the Seven Kingdoms and establishes Targaryen rule. Beau Willimon is attached to write the script. The project has been described as a large-scale theatrical event, with earlier reporting comparing the approach to Dune in terms of size and ambition. That would make Aegon's Conquest the first major Game of Thrones feature film for theaters after the franchise spent years dominating television through Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So there you go. Aegon on the way to, I don't know, make a movie. Yeah. Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum poster released at CinemaCon. Jamie Dornan cast as Strider. Yeah, they were going to have some recasting in there. So, So anyway, they revealed the poster for Lord of the Rings, The Hunt of Gollum at CinemaCon. It says the movie hits next year. The studio also posted on social media. We've been waiting for you, precious. The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum. So, yeah, I'm not going to play it because I never know what the rules are. But it's basically just the poster, which you can see here. And all these names appear in it. Oh, look, it reflects in the pool there. And he's looking at his ring and all that stuff. So, the poster confirms Andy Serkis returns as Gollum and Smeagol, with Ian McKellen back as Gandalf, Lee Pace as Thranduil, and Elijah Wood as Frodo Baggins. Yeah, but why? I mean, they got to recreate the scenes in between. Anyway, new additions include Kate Winslet as Marigold, Leo Woodall as Halford, and Jamie Dornan as Strider. Yeah. Jamie Dornan's casting is one of the bigger reveals because Strider is the ranger identity used by Aragorn before his true name is revealed in Lord of the Rings. In Peter Jackson's original trilogy, Aragorn was played by Viggo Mortensen, so Dornan is stepping into that role for the new film. Hey, maybe he just keeps the hood on, hiding his features and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, the teaser poster showed at CinemaCon keeps the focus on Gollum, with Andy Serkis' character crouched in a dark cave under beams of light. Yep. The image pushes the movie's darker tone and makes clear this one is centered on Gollum's story, which we saw. I mean, we saw the whole story for the most part, So this is milking the brand, but that's all it is. So, I don't think they should have done this. So Hunt for Gollum is directed by Andy Serkis and is set between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Yeah. The story follows a search for Gollum as Gandalf and Aragorn try to track him down before Sauron learns too much about Bilbo's ring. Sauron learns about it. I mean, whatever. I'm not optimistic about this one. The original trilogy should just be left as it was. And because it's easily one of the best, if not the best trilogy ever made. So, I don't know. I'm not sure this was such a great idea. But who knows? I'll be completely wrong, and it's some sort of masterpiece. So it's possible. I am willing to entertain the possibility. Yes, I am. Oh, wait, I wanted to do the horror. Oh, no, this is right. Okay. Evil Dead burned footage. They burnt footage? Teased at CinemaCon with brutal first footage. I'm beginning to think she's crazy. Or she got attacked by the Joker, Warner Brothers gave CinemaCon attendees a first look at Evil Dead Burn, and the footage sounds exactly like what fans want from the franchise. Dead eyes, chainsaws, hacked off fingers, and a whole lot of blood. The new movie is directed by Sebastian Vanacek, is that? Or Vanas? Yeah. And is set for release on July 24th, 2026. The cast includes Sahelia Jacob, Hunter Duhan, LaCane Buchanan, and Tandy Wright. I think I got that. Again, I'm not going to play it, but I did play it. It probably wouldn't matter, but it's kind of funny how it goes. And then you're left wondering, is this going to be a found footage version? I don't know. No. It's a behind the scenes shot of what happens, but I mean, it's kind of funny how they do it. But anyway, the footage unfinished, opens up on a mother unloading a dishwasher packed with sharp silverware before a knock at the door changes everything. Well, that's not what this footage does. When she opens it, she is confronted by an undead corpse with 4 severed fingers and a car headrest impaled through her head and neck. She yanks it out, drops it to the floor, and unleashes terror on the family. The footage then flashes back to a gruesome car accident and a door slamming shut on a girl's fingers, severing them. This probably was her. Yeah. From there, the trailer turns savage. The Deadite shoves the boy onto the open dishwasher, impaling him with cutlery. Oh, my God. Then jumps on his chest and drives the silverware deeper into his butt. Good Lord. Other shots show blood everywhere. Well, I can imagine. People scrambling to survive and twisted images of the undead woman stalking the house while promising the whole family will be reunited. Well, that's nice. One of the final scenes reportedly has her drinking hot candle wax before scaring a young man backward, causing him to trip over the open dishwasher and fall into a storm of knives. Oh, boy. The plot is still being kept quiet. I think we just heard it, but the footage makes clear this one is going for pure brutality. Well, yeah, I guess so. The teaser includes lines such as, "My sweet boy, I would give anything for us to be together again," along with a more sarcastic, sinister toast to a perfect family. The footage also included rough and unfinished shots with Warner Brothers host Patton Oswalt telling the crowd it was a very early look and that the filmmakers had made it extra disturbing. So anyway, there you go. The movie opens in July. There's your stars, director and all that. And, well, there you go. It's, this won't be in the movie. It's from the previous one, I think. It looks more like Smile. Is this even Evil Dead at all? Because they did the other one, and they're trapped in the hotel, or the apartment building. But Yeah, I don't know, but well, there's going to be a lot of blood and fingers and cutlery for Evil Dead. Burn. It will not overtake the original. Nothing can, but well, maybe they should have called it something else. I don't know. Nasty Undead. We call it, that's the franchise, the Nasty Undead. That might have worked, but I could be wrong. Zach Kreger's Resident Evil trailer debuts at CinemaCon with gore-filled zombie outbreak. Okay. Zach Kreger brought his new Resident Evil movie to CinemaCon, and the first trailer sounds like exactly what fans would want from the franchise. Blood, zombies, and chaos. Sony screened footage from the movie ahead of its September 18th theatrical release. The trailer previewed an original story set in the zombie-infested Resident Evil universe and stars Austin Abrams, who reunites with Kreger following Weapons. Now, Weapons was excellent. Is it going to beat that? I doubt it. But it might be a good movie. I don't know. But for the purposes of Resident Evil, Anyway, according to Variety's description, the trailer opens with Abrams' character finding an abandoned house in a snowy field while looking for a working phone. He calls his girlfriend, apologizes for being disconnected earlier, and says they may never speak again. Whoops. From there, the footage leans hard into horror. Zombies fill the trailer, including a pale, bloated creature sitting at the bottom of a sewer. The big finish shows Abrams running through a deserted street while a zombie horde chases him from the rooftops. The footage ends with zombie bodies smashing to the ground in violent fashion. Kreger is coming off a strong run in horror. He broke out with Barbarian, another great film, and followed it up with Weapons, which turned into a major hit. Now he's jumping from original horror into one of gaming's biggest survival horror franchises. Resident Evil also reunites him with, Austin Abrams, while the cast includes Paul Walter Hauser, Zach Cherry, and Kali Reyes. I wanted to write a story that would really lean into that dread Kreger previously explained. It's not adapting any of the game plots, but it exists in that same territory. I mean, I never played the game. I did see the Mila Jovovich movies. They were stupid fun. And it had Mila Jovovich in it, which was the main reason to watch it. And I did. But I never bothered with the follow-up or reboots or whatever. They sounded awful, and they all failed. And this, well, it's Kreger, so it'll probably be a good horror movie. But is it really Resident Evil? I mean, if you're a hardcore Resident Evil fan from the games, none of these movies have done you any justice. I mean, some of the video game characters that even I recognize did appear in the Mila Jovovich movies, but at least the overall plot was there and stuff. So anyway, he continues, those games pioneered something special, Kreger added in another interview at the time. The pacing of those games is so unique and effective, and just being locked in with one character moving from point A to point B, knowing you're going to pass through this gauntlet of terror, and you've got to be methodical and thoughtful about it. That's cinematic. So I want to tell the story in the world of the games that honors the lore of the games, but it's a new story. Well, maybe he'll do it. Maybe he will, but I don't know. I mean, for me, just as an isolated horror movie, I'll probably like it, So anyway, there we go. Kreger's Resident Evil. I don't really know what this is from, but well, we'll just have to make use of it for this particular video. Oh, wait. Yeah, I want to like that. Godzilla -0 teaser trailer debuts. Following CinemaCon first look. Godzilla -1 is easily one of the best films made in recent times. It was an astounding achievement. So, got to have some amount of excitement for the sequel. Godzilla Minus Zero got its teaser trailer, blah, blah, blah. The new film continues the story of the survivors from the last attack and raises the stakes in a big way, with Godzilla heading straight for New York City. So some of the characters from the first film will return? I didn't know that. I mean, obviously Godzilla would return, but... Well, anyway, CinemaCon viewers were shown a behind-the-scenes sizzle reel instead of a full traditional trailer. The footage highlighted elaborate practical builds and production work. That is one of the great highlights of the film, including bomber jets destroyed by city environments and a miniature Godzilla model used during development. Yamasaki also revealed the story takes place 2 years after the events of Godzilla Minus One. The biggest moment came at the end as Godzilla made his way toward the Statue of Liberty, teasing an attack on New York City. The ending immediately set the tone for the sequel and makes it clear this follow-up is going bigger than the first movie. The first film became a breakout hit outside Japan and won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects, which only added more attention to what Yamasaki would do next with the franchise. Toho previously confirmed Godzilla Minus Zero for a November 2026 theatrical release in Japan, with G-Kids handling a North American theatrical rollout days later. The official Godzilla channels have also been promoting the first look teaser premiere for April 14th. So fans will not have to wait long to see what CinemaCon audiences are talking about. So I guess everybody saw it, and I didn't yet. I'll have to go check it out. But anyway, moving the action toward New York City is a major shift for the sequel. Godzilla Minus One kept things rooted in post-war Japan, which is a big part of why the movie hit so hard. Godzilla Minus Zero looks to keep the same survivors at the center while expanding the scale for what could be an even bigger disaster movie. With the teaser trailer about to go live, fans are finally getting their first look at it and all that. So, really loved Minus One. Hope this one is at least as good and not something that ruins the whole thing, and you just have to forget it ever happened. But I don't know. The first one was just so damn good. Odds are it may not be as good as that, but it'll still be, or maybe it won't be as great as that, probably. But it could still be really good. So looking forward to Godzilla Minus Zero. Ah, damn it. Apologies, these things happen. Dune Part 3. First 7 minutes debate at CinemaCon and blows everyone away. Oh, that's too bad. I hope everyone's going to be all right. But Warner Brothers showed the first 7 minutes of Dune Part 3. The footage is already being described as one of the standout moments of the studio's presentation. Reports saying the opening drops viewers right into a brutal war sequence led by Stilgar, before shifting into footage involving Paul Atreides, Chani, Hate, and the new threat played by Robert Pattinson. So Rob Liefeld saw it and said Denise channeling Saving Private Ryan in space, gripping and bleak. The most incredible visuals I've seen in forever. Outstanding. So the visuals are impressive in Dune, if a little desaturated, but that's pretty standard. But it's all right. I don't know. Maybe this will be the big payoff, and we'll see that. But anyway, the footage begins with thunder and pounding music over the opening credits before ships tear through a violent storm. Some are struck by lightning and destroyed, while others make it through and descend toward the ground. Robert Meyer Burnett says the first 7 minutes of Dune 3 are insane. Inside the ships are soldiers led by Javier Bardem's Stilgar, and with the men taking the rain as a hopeful sign tied to prophecy before launching into a chant. When the ramp opens, the soldiers step out into the rain carrying a black case, only to be hit by a devastating barrage from a massive hidden weapon. The attack tears through the troops, blowing some apart and setting the battlefield on fire. Stilgar identifies the distant weapon, helping his side target in it, in return as the sequence turns into a full-scale bombardment. Reports describe the scene as intense, brutal, and a much bigger look at the Holy War now raging across the galaxy. After the opening battle, the footage reportedly shifts to a more trailer-like montage teasing the larger story. Paul asks Haight, the revived Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, what he thinks of him, and Haight answers, I think you're way beyond redemption. Chani and Paul come face to face, with Chani asking him how it feels to be human like everyone else. The footage also includes Anna Taylor-Joy reading cards and Robert Pattinson's character describing a cloud blocking his vision and preventing him from seeing beyond the present moment, teasing the role Satale will play in the story. The preview wraps with more action beats and a giant sandworm moment to close things out. Well, there you go. The film takes place 17 years. They don't look it. After Dune Part Number 2, with Paul now ruling as emperor and dealing with the consequences of his rise to power. Villeneuve described the third movie as the most emotional of the trilogy, while Chalamet and Zendaya said Paul and Chani have both changed significantly since the last film. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be 17 years, so you got to expect that. So anyway, Villeneuve directs it. All these people are in it, and so are these people. And, well, it opens in theaters in December. So there you go. Dune number 3. Will it be everything you hope for? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Sometimes that's just how that works. Star Trek Starfleet Academy sets already being torn down following cancellations. That's how you know it's over. Their last holdout was that they might get the green light for a Star Trek Year 1, and their main selling point was, we got all these sets. You know, I guess they didn't go for that. So anyway, not long after PP confirmed Star Trek Starfleet Academy will end with its second season, signs are already pointing to the production shutting down for good. Trek Central posted on X that sets for the series are now being taken down, with a crew member saying teams are already de-rigging the studio space. Trek Central also said a local online auction is scheduled for Friday for pieces of the set. Yeah, so somebody got a hold of some of that stuff. The image making the rounds appears to back that up, showing the large Academy set in the middle of being dismantled. With the set being taken down, that obviously also means the set won't be used for any related or spin-off series. So there you go. All right, let's get this crap out of here. So there you go. This follows the recent news that Star Trek Starfleet Academy has been canceled. Right. Yeah, we know. The official announcement and trade coverage in March confirmed the second season will be the last, so the set teardown now looks like the next step is closing the book on the series and the entirety of Kurtzman Trek. That also adds more weight to the idea that this wasn't some last-minute pause. If the sets are already coming down and auction pieces are already being lined up, it looks like Paramount is fully moving on. What comes next for Star Trek on the TV side still hasn't been announced by the new Paramount owners. David Ellison's August 2025 letter after the Skydance merger talked broadly about reshaping Paramount, investing in high-quality storytelling, and making tougher calls about where the company sees future opportunity. But it did not lay out a specific television roadmap for Star Trek. So at least for now, there is no official replacement series, or a new streaming plan on the table, publicly tied to the end of Starfleet Academy. While there has been no clear announcement yet about what is next for Star Trek on PP, the new regime has made it known that Star Trek still matters on the movie side. In August, reports out of Paramount's new leadership presentation said David Ellison called Star Trek one of the studio's top film priorities alongside Top Gun and World War Z. Then in November, trades reported that Paramount hired Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly to write, produce, and direct a new Star Trek movie, signaling that the franchise is still alive theatrically even as the streaming side gets trimmed back. Trimmed back, more like burnt to the ground. But then it sort of did that to itself, didn't it? So what could possibly happen for a streaming series? Well, Star Trek United rumors grow as Paramount looks past Starfleet Academy. So obviously this is an AI image and all that. I would probably dial back the advanced look of the starship there. I mean, you got the little red things for the nacelles, but this is too much Kurtzman look. You're going to want to look to the 60s show to develop that. Anyway, following the cancellation of Starfleet Academy and its set being torn down, rumors are picking up that Paramount could be eyeing a new Star Trek series called Star Trek United, with Scott Bakula returning as Jonathan Archer and Enterprise writer-producer Michael Sussman involved. Right now, nothing official has been announced. As noted below, IMDb Pro lists Star Trek United as a peach, not as something in production or even in development. So, they're knocking on the door. Will it happen? I don't know. It's not a bad idea, just in the idea of maintaining interest in the franchise and trying to clean up the disaster that was Secret Hideout Trek. Anyway, an image placeholder featuring Bakula being used on IMDb also appears to be AI generated. It is. The rumors are coming from various ex-users and YouTubers. Word first hit back in August, but Paramount has not confirmed anything. So anyway, according to the description from IMDb, the pitch is set at the dawn of the Federation, with President Jonathan Archer dealing with political threats, interstellar tension, and the effort to hold together a divided galaxy. That lines up with details previously reported about the concept being a more grounded political thriller set after Archer's Starfleet career. Previous details tying to the rumored project said Bakula and Sussman had been working on the idea for a few years. The concept would follow Archer after Enterprise, with the former captain now serving as president of the United Federation of Planets during the unstable early years of the Federation. Sussman described it as a mix of political thriller and family drama with comparisons to The West Wing, Homeland, and The Diplomat. The earlier report also said that the idea grew out of continuity Sussman planted in Enterprise, specifically a future database entry from Archer's post-Starfleet life. From there, the peach reportedly evolved into a full show's concept. Well, that's Kelvin, so I would, not use that. The new Skydance-led Paramount has already made it clear that Star Trek remains a priority, especially on the movie side. After the merger, they announced the movie, but Star Trek belongs in episodic television or streaming, however you want to put it out there. Okay, you got the movie to keep Star Trek out there, fine, but you need a series. So nothing has been announced yet about a new PP series under the Ellison regime. But if Skydance is serious about expanding Star Trek again, it would make sense for that movie push to eventually carry over to streaming as well. That part is still speculation for now, but the franchise clearly remains on the board, even as Starfleet Academy comes and the rest of Kurtzman era comes. Okay. Well, I didn't need to know that. So anyway, what's the deal? Well, I'm really tired of prequels and everything because there've been so many done so very badly. However, a concept like this might be a good sort of placeholder for later Trek and stuff. My idea was to just scrap everything, start over with a brand new ship, brand new crew. They're on a mission in space, and you go from there. And that would probably be for the better. But a story like this might go a long way. And if you handled well and better than they did with Picard, trying to capture nostalgia bait and whatnot to have Bakula play this role, might go a long way to heal some of the wounds that have been caused by it and all that. And I mean, you can't do what Enterprise lost when it got canceled. It was really getting good at the end there, except for the final episode, which was crap. But everything else, boy, it really found its stride in that final season. And it's too bad. It was too late, I guess. But to follow up on it in something like this, then, I'm intrigued by it, and it's probably not a bad idea to approach it and go for that. For the very least, to try to repair damage done, and it might be the vehicle to do it. So in that respect, I would certainly support it. Other people wanted Star Trek Legacy because they really liked Picard Season 3. Picard Season 3, by comparison, was the best thing Secret Hideout produced as far as live action goes. The cartoons probably did better than everything else. But it really, I don't see the high praise for it. You got the cool reunion of the original cast and stuff like that. And it had its moments here and there, but it also had a lot of stupid in it and that sort of thing. But ultimately, as far as a spinoff from it, as a continuation, the final scene shows you what it's going to be about, and I'm not interested in that at all. Of little Picard Jr. being bossed around by his two mommies. A whole series of that? I don't know. But I don't think that was ever in serious consideration. I mean, probably it was Kurtzman killing it all the time, so maybe it would have had a chance under the new regime, but they probably opt more for this one. And that's probably for the best. And then, maybe just then, or even concurrently, a new series that's set way into the future, beyond Next Generation era and all of that, and let Star Trek breathe again with new sci-fi concepts and all that. So that could be possible, but it's got to be restored and repaired. And maybe something like Star Trek United could do that. So one can hope. Oh boy. Hang on a minute. I got these out of order. I want to do this one first. Poor Doctor Who. Oh, wait a minute. This is an April 1st article? Okay, I'm not sure any of this is true. Okay, never mind. I guess we're done. Oh, I almost got me. Yeah, okay. So, I guess that'll do it. That'll be it for this round of, Nailsin. There we go. Nailsin Ratings Live. That's the deal. So, all right. And nothing else in the chat. No super tips. I did all this work. Oh, well. Them's the breaks. So, for those who stuck around and sat through this, thank you. And I'll do another one hopefully soon. And all that goody gumdrop stuff. So, there we are. And hopefully I'll be able to make proper videos out of this, time permitting. I should be on Pop Culture Breakdown later in the evening today, and join us all there for more pop culture news and analyses. All right, that's it. We're done. Nothing left but my ending theme song, which I need to redo. Oh, you got to restart it, yeah. Anyway, talk to you later.
Hollywood good to Billy Witch, they would, there's no debating. All that's left is the Nailsin reign, the first feast on the corpse of the beast, only after the feel of the vulture. Pop!